Good morning, everyone. So you're not into the pre-Super Bowl party, I guess? You're here. This is where it's at. We have our tailgate party coming up. But anyway, we're going to start with a wonderful song from singer-songwriter Holly Day. Yeah.
So I didn't practice. And I didn't practice because I have performance anxiety, and I really wanted this to just be fresh. So the song I See You may be a little bit different than how you heard it. So it'll be good, because I really want you to join me in the freshness of it. Okay. I'm going to do the first part, and I want to invite you to join me on the chorus and then the second half of the song, so you get the idea. When you search my eyes, you'll see my soul. When we share a smile, when God's love is shown, when I see your light, with all my heart. One more time. With all my heart. With all my heart. I see you. I see you. I see you. Come on. I see you. I really see you.
Well, Holly, we see you. Thank you. So we're going to invite the children up and we'll sing them out. But if you're comfortable, greet your neighbor and think of the words from Holly that I see you when you look at somebody and go, I see you. And I love you. Children? Oh, and wave to the camera too.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. Tu es l'image de Dieu. I hold you in my heart. Tu es l'image de l'amour. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You
Shirley,
are
you
the
get to stay.
face of God.
So that was wonderful. So I'm Charlie Boring, practitioner for the day in service with Christine. I'm so sorry. But anyway, so we're here to serve you after service. You know, if you have a need for a prayer or for support, we're here to sit with you, whether it be for the good or to just to work through something. This is what we do, and this is what we love to do, is to be here for you. So please come up and see us. And if it's during the week, our phone numbers are available or email address, and you can contact us. So I'd like to thank everybody in service today. We have the sound team, and we have the kitchen cookies, and we have the board member, Marty, in the back. So if you have any questions at all, just feel free to ask any of us, and we're here to answer them. And also, if you're new today and would like a packet, a welcome packet, just raise your hand and we'll bring that to you. Is there anybody new today? Yeah, we have somebody in the back there. Thank you for coming. And if you'd like to see the grounds afterwards, any of those I just mentioned, we'll be glad to take you around and show you the property. So we have a few announcements, and I'm going to start with Reverend Kat Cox, who's got a class coming up, and I know Sue and I already joined to be at the class, so it sounds like a wonderful class on dreams. So Kat, come on up.
So in the dream, I'm standing on a pier, and the pier is shaky, and there's a little rowboat, and I want to get into it, and there's a rope, and I'm trying to pull the rope to get this rowboat near to the shaky pier. And the colors are very light. It's pastel, like there's hardly any color there. And even when I pull the rowboat closer, I'm afraid to take a step to get into the boat. Now, I had this dream over 60 years ago, and it's still with me, and it's still revealing to me the fears that I had and that still come up for me now about taking a step into the world, about letting my feelings and the colors of my feelings be bright and vivid, about what to do about the shakiness that I feel under me, even though I want to get into something that's going to take me somewhere. So I want to invite you to join in a 5-week class where we will explore dreams past and present. Any dream that you remember or even colors of a dream is something wonderful for us to explore. Dreams are the personal love letters from the deep archetypal unconscious and your personal unconscious, and we'll play with them. So we'll start on Wednesday, the 22nd. Class officially is 6:30 to 8, but I'm going to be there at 6. I'm planning on us to do some art, making collages. This is just a fun way to go into a powerful spiritual practice of working with your dreams and discovering the gifts they have to offer you. And I'd love to see you there.
And the forms to sign up are in the back, and you can talk to Marty about that. And anybody listening online, you can sign up online as well, because we have that opportunity now where you can click a button, sign the class, and actually pay for it online. So thank you, Reverend Kat. I look forward to the class. And then we have Steve Smith to announce a new opportunity that we're going to have on Friday nights, one Friday a month, and it sounds wonderful.
Well, we had the drumming circle last Friday, as we always do on the second Friday. It was fun. It was full of the unexpected. And at one point, there was a lot of hysterical laughter, which would be lovely if it just spread and spread. What I'm here to announce, though, is on the fourth Friday is going to be an open mic. We have a stage, and we could be the audience, and we can also share what we have. So I always forget something when I get up here, so I actually wrote a few things down. It's going to be on the 24th, which is the fourth Friday. So it's an opportunity to speak your truth. Recite your poems, or the poems that speak to you. Sing your songs, or play your tunes. Dance your dance, or whistle your bird calls. Enlighten is a verb. And if somebody says they're enlightened, it's an impossibility, because that's past tense. And how could you possibly be in past tense if you actually are in the moment? The other part of enlighten is enlightening up. Really, that's the essence of moving towards the enlightening experience, is to lighten up, to let go of your inhibitions. And so many of us do have secret passions that we share with the bathroom mirror every evening. And this is an opportunity to actually be in front of an incredibly supportive audience and be able to share your parts of your heart. I know there's a lot of hams here, and this is going to be the opportunity. And I also know that that Reading isn't the most exciting place in the world, so this is an opportunity too for cheap entertainment. So we're asking like $10 as a love donation. This is a fundraiser to help pay the bills, and it's also an opportunity to build community and expose yourself in ways that you haven't before, So, love to see you there.
What time is it?
It's going to be from 7 to 9, and if you want to get up on the mic, it's good to come early to sign up so that I can kind of organize things before we start at 7. Yes?
Why don't you call it a fundraiser?
You can have an opportunity. Okay. Thank you.
Personally, I think this is a great opportunity because, as a center that's coming out of COVID, we're trying to think of different ways to bring in the larger community into our center and to showcase what we have here. And so this is, besides the drumming circle and other things, we really want to get the word out there. So if you know people around Reading or beyond that this would speak to, just say, come on with me, and let's show up and have fun together. So I look forward to hamming it up because I'm shy about that stuff, and I'm going to give it a whirl. I'll be with Kurt. Kurt will help me. So anyway, so we have a few other announcements that I'll go through fairly quickly, but probably the most important one is, as you know, there's Valentine's Day coming up, and as you walked in, you saw these beautiful baskets and bundles, of Valentine's cookies and candies and so forth. And it was a delightful crew here yesterday putting it all together with love. Love for someone to purchase and give to somebody who they care about, or just eat it themselves. But if you can see Marty, you can see Pris in the foyer, and you can purchase that for your loved one or for yourself or even for your pet. But anyway, just take notice of that and know that a lot of love went into it. We have an Exploring membership meeting today with Dr. Mary Mitchell. It's at 11:15 after the service, and that'll be in the boardroom. So if you go into the office, you'll see a door that's open, and you can join that. But this is about what membership means and information about the center. You can ask questions, get answers. Dr. Mary's been doing this for a long time, and she's excellent at being able to let you know what the center is all about and what it means to join this beautiful community. And it's one of the 2 required meetings if you want to become a member. We have Sacred Sisters and the men's group on Monday night, the 13th, both from 7 to 9 here at the center. We have, we did that one. And we have a wonderful workshop coming up with Christy Carr, one of our practitioners. Beads, beads, beads. It's the way it's written. So Christy and Kristen Carr will supply all the beads and the string needed for you to bead your own piece of art, along with snacks, great company, and lots of laughs. And I've heard really good feedback about this, about what they do in terms of their workshop, and it's a lot of fun, and it's another way of building community and friendships. So you can find out more from Christy. She's here today, and that'd be great if you join. So now we're going to move into the reading, and Sue has invited Jonathan to come up and do the reading today. And so follow that, I'll invite the bell 3 times, and then Shirley will do the prayer. So Jonathan?
How wonderful to feel the light from all of you here, just as there is sunlight outside on this lovely day. These are readings from the book Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. We must believe that love, goodness, truth, and beauty are at the center of everything, therefore at the center of the person, the condition, or situation towards which we designate our treatment or prayer. We must believe that love is God, infinite, eternal, and ever-present. We cannot escape love. We exist in love and are one with it. We live by, through, and in love. Love motivates our entire thought, purpose, plan, and action. Everything we see with the eyes of love. Everything we hear with the ears of love. We see God everywhere. Wherever we look, we see God. Wherever we go, we find God. Thus we may say, I baptize all people in the essence of love. I pour the spirit of joy upon all occasions. I throw peace around every form. There is that within me which proclaims, behold, I make all things new.
Good morning. Please join with me in knowing that there is only one, a divine energy, our source of love, peace, and wisdom. We recognize this one as Spirit or God. And as we experience the ups and downs of our daily lives, we have a sense of wonder and curiosity. We know that as we ask, we will receive understanding and guidance. And so we relax in the recognition of this divine presence, guiding and supporting us in all that we do. May the attributes of Spirit find expression in our daily lives, and we release unnecessary worries and concerns about the future, for we know the only real time is now. We were meant to have joy in our lives as we continue learning, growing, and changing in positive ways. So we're so grateful that this is the way it is, and together we say, and so it is.
I kind of want Shirley's cane. Good morning. I'm going to sidetrack just a little bit. Holly, it's really fun to have you here. And what you've brought out of the woodwork are a lot of friends that we haven't seen for a while. So I can point all those friends out to you, but I think you know who they are. But you're always a gift, so thank you. Why I want to take a pause just for a moment, because I think this is important, is looking at what's happened this past week. And this kind of moved me. I get a lot of information from the organization, but this comes from Spiritual Passages, a minister that sends a lot of beautiful information our way. So he talks about the earthquake in Syria and Turkey. And it's when we realize the heartbreak of that, and that we live on one planet and what's happening there could happen here, we really are struck by a sense of deep compassion And he writes, parts of Syria and Turkey were struck by a devastating earthquake that's taken thousands of lives, thousands, and left hundreds of thousands more without shelter in the middle of winter. As rescue workers continue to search for victims trapped in the rubble, more than 20 countries, many organizations, and countless individuals have raced to the earthquake site to help. So here, UNICEF is one way, has compiled a list of ways for individuals to make donations. So to tag on to that, some of these quotes, like sometimes we feel so helpless, so what can I do? And Ram Dass reminds us, what do we really have to offer? Everything, it turns out. Within each of us, that essence of being, which is in all things. You can call it God, life, energy, consciousness. When we're helping another, they feel that they are not isolated beings. They feel us there with them, that we are in this together. And the Dalai Lama says there is a saying in Tibetan, tragedy should be utilized as a source of strength, no matter what sort of difficulty, how painful the experience is. If we lose our hope, that's the real disaster. And finally, from The Secrets of Divine Love by A. Hula, you are called to be a hand to the fallen, a crutch for the broken, a healing presence for the sick. You are called to step out of your comfort zone and into the valley of hopeless, like a lighthouse illuminating the dark corners of the earth. So I know for all of us here that our hearts of compassion are stirred by world events, and that we must know that every single act we do, every prayer we utter makes a difference. So that ties into then the idea of our message today, the inquiring minds, our inquiring minds, they indeed want to flow, right? We want our goodness to flow out into the world. And Walt Whitman was known to say, be curious in life, be curious but not judgmental. Oh, what a tagline. Walt Whitman, be curious but not judgmental. And there was a book that the practitioner class is going to be doing a project on, and it's called The Wisdom of Not Knowing by Estelle Frankel, and she encourages us to discover the wonder of all things by embracing uncertainty, and that many of us have unfortunately lost touch with our curiosity. We've lost touch with it just simply because we've become more familiar, right, with life's wonders. And I think about a young mother who has a lot of things on her mind and she's rushing through her errands. And her child is tagging along and she's pulling her by the arm or trying to get everything done, get the tasks done. And the child's just curious about everything. And there's also the opportunity for that mother to move at the child's pace and look at the wonder along the way. Children's eyes slow us down because they see something that we miss because we're on duty. So I've appreciated that, and one of the poems from Rilke that I wanted to share from this work of Estelle Frankel speaks directly to this, the importance of living and loving the questions rather than always seeking an answer. I would like to beg you, dear sir, as well as I can, to have patience with everything unresolved in your heart, and to try to love the questions themselves, as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers, which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the question now. Perhaps then, someday, far in the future, You will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer. That's Rilke. So on point for the message that I hope to share with you today. And so one of the books of the month is one of Ernest Holmes' Words That Heal. Reverend Lynn referred to it last week in her message. So he reminds us that the electric globe, which I can only assume is a light bulb. I'm thinking, he's not that old. Why didn't he just say light bulb? But he calls it the electric globe. The electric globe is not a light until the current passes through it. It cannot be a light of itself. It is an instrument through which the current flows. So, that seems very elemental. But he's going on to remind us we are that instrument as well. So he's saying, this is true of the circuit of the divine mind through each of us. It too is a creative energy, indeed, the ultimate energy, as well as ultimate intelligence. It's only as we live in harmony with the divine nature that there can be a free flow of its intelligence, a free flow of its intelligence and energy through us. On further declaring the hope that should nestle like a conviction of certainty at the center of our being is a complete faith in the triumph of spirit. This is Jesus healed the multitudes, not by power or by might, but through a surrender of human weakness to spiritual strength. A surrender of human weakness to spiritual strength. Exactly what the world is calling from each one of us. So how do we live in harmony with the divine nature? What is that? What is divine nature now? And Ernest Holmes, he's known for his many words to explain one thing, but he very simply says divine nature is the true nature of all things. Clear, precise. The true nature of all things is divine nature, but what is true? And that's where the questions start to happen. So alrighty then, we're invited to dig in deeper. And this is the curiosity. This is the curiosity that is moving us through all the questions in our life. And it's why diving into the study of the divine way has allowed us to surrender our weaknesses and indeed tap into our spiritual strength. And there are certain questions that allow this wisdom and inspire this divine wisdom to be alert inside of us. Now, some of us here are completing a class together on unconditional joy, and we've used the book, and I've mentioned it before, the Living the Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And it's been a 6-week journey, this invitation to stay with questions that allow us to digest all of life's experience. And that's the important word there, to digest, to take it in and move it through. We can each testify that we have met in this class. We have met our triggers. We've touched the buttons inside of ourselves. And we've come face to face with many of these issues that we come up against on a certain level. We also know, as we've meditated together and soul searched together, we also know what it means to have an open heart. We know the flavor, we know the feeling, we know the grace. It flows in and it flows out, and there is a sense of absolute peace and harmony there, ease. But we also know it doesn't take but a word, and you can feel the sudden constriction of that beautiful heart space, and we're not so much at peace anymore. Those are the moments that you close down. And you can even feel it here in a Sunday message. I might say something that pokes something inside of you that you've been protecting. And you might even look at me like, how dare she say that? That's my issue, and she's poking me. I know she's talking to me. She saw me. She looked at me. I saw her look at me, and she said, she's exposing me. We all have the same stories, but this is what happens. These moments that we just suddenly shut down. And yet we can look around and we realize no one else is bothered by this. Why is that? I remember going on nursing rounds. I was the charge nurse, and I would follow a certain doctor, I won't use any names, and that would be with also his nurse advocate that would follow him as well. And he would rant and rave if a lab value wasn't back. And I'd be shuddering, and I'd be saying, I tell my staff, I said, don't ever say, it didn't get done or we forgot it. Don't say those words. Just say, it's not ready yet. Then he moves on. But if he hears that word, he'd flare up and he'd just look at me in the face and just be so hot and red. And I'd just be, I don't know, here, take my blood, you know. And I'd just be like, and the other nurse would just be like, mm-hmm. And I said, well, why doesn't that get you, that energy? Why? It's not mine. It's not mine. Well, it's not mine either. Why do I take it in? And so I realized that's my trigger. That's where my heart space closes. And in those moments, no one else in the room that's bothered. And I realize it's really not out there. Nothing out there is causing that dark mood to just suddenly come down and descend upon us. It could be something they said. I want to write a book about they. I think it could heal a lot of things because they are usually the ones that have done something wrong. Or it could be the way that someone has behaved. Or here's one that Charlie knows, this is my button. As people keep saying, we should have a suggestion box. We should. Did you hear it? I hate that word. I hate that word, should. Because every time I feel like when there is a shoulding happening, I just feel like, it just bears weight on my shoulders. I could do a lot of things, and I'm open to that. But if you come to me and said, you know what you should do? What? Because it hits something inside of me, an inner sore spot. I'm just not good enough, and I never will be in your eyes. Because I can't keep up with all the shoulds that come along. So what is the divine nature there? What is the truth there? What is trying to be revealed? That's the question. Something is really just trying to pass through in a moment of time. It's just trying to pass through. It got snagged on the chip of your own shoulder. And so you realize, my soul is informing me here. Wait, let me look around and wake up. Let me breathe to my true center. It doesn't have to be any kind of hokey ceremony that you're doing, that everybody's saying, oh, she's doing her thing. She's closed her eyes and she's breathing really loud with another sound that comes out. That's what I do in yoga. It's called Ujjayi breathing, but we won't do that here together. But it's this idea, what is your practice to get you back to your true center? But here is where, what I love Ram Dass, when he first brought this loving awareness meditation to us all, you allow loving awareness to engage with what is. You can feel that because when you breathe that idea of loving awareness into your heart, you get really close to the thing itself that has set you off. And instead of trying to shape it another way or ignore it, numb it, bury it, you just get closer. You just lean in. You just get closer and you breathe with it. And then we look deeper into the challenge. How can I sit in the present moment right here and feel this? It's painful. We lean away. We lean in. It is revealed. We lean away to realize it's not mine. It's not mine, but it's being revealed to me to let go. Because we are leaning away from the emotions and the mental chatter, the repetitiveness that has never helped anyway. And we get closer to a sweet witness that's been with us always. The sweet witness, our divine nature. Closer to the truth, closer to surrender. And we breathe even deeper, and we're inquiring here. Here's Byron Katie's wisdom for loving what is. Remember her words. Is it true? And you might say, yeah, because it feels sucky in here. Or you can say, is it absolutely true? I don't know. My head's all over the place right now. I don't know if it's absolutely true. But here's what I love what Byron Katie says. Turn it around. What would you be without that? What would you be without that? I'd be a loving being again. I'd be at peace. And then that moment where the electric bulb comes back on, that light bulb lights up our awareness. We're breathing deeper, and an inspiration quickens, and a flow is felt, and we realize, I'm releasing. It's a felt sense. I'm relaxing. I'm feeling a calm overcome me. We are surrendering our human weakness, and we're tapping into the resource of what we can trust is always there, our spiritual strength. So this inner sweet, loving witness that is always there, our soul nature, you can call it many names, it is always in direct attunement to the divine, and it is always, always whispering your answers. That's the self-discovery expressing itself. Its flowing wisdom is moving through us. Its love is moving through us. And we are exactly okay as we are. And we can remember this truth as we get closer and closer to embrace the places that inside of us just don't feel like it's okay. It's not okay inside me right now. So from as far back as I can remember, as long as I've been studying spiritual journey, spiritual way, spiritual life, the curiosity in me from being a Methodist and sitting there just wondering what God is, you know, because my God I could see something, but it never had a head. And I kept thinking, well, what is that? And how can you talk to it if it doesn't have a head? That was my little girl inside of me. But as I studied the many yogis throughout and the many sages, they continually echoed the same questions that I invite you to ask in those moments you feel constricted. Who am I? What is my purpose? And how can I serve? Through all the lineages, those three questions come up. Who am I? What's my purpose? What am I supposed to do? And then how can I serve? How can I help another? And we're always, each one of us, invited to probe those questions and reach in and wake up in the here and now to what comes through. So when you're not in harmony with the big self inside of you, we are experiencing what you recognize as the divided self, and you can feel it. You can feel the inner torment, the battle. And sometimes the question boils down simply to this: why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I love Charlie. Why do I all of a sudden want him in another room? No, I know. It's because you're here. No, you lean away, and you breathe, and the answers are going to be right there. Why am I doing this? This hurts my heart. And then I love this idea that just as a memory will float into you, just as it comes out of nowhere, so does this grace. So does this grace of the divine whisper. And the arms of love come around you, and you are revealing a truth, just as gracefully as that memory flowed through. It might not be to your preferences, which that gets sticky here, but it is the answer. So you expand your awareness to include the answers that are coming to you that are causing you to want to bolt and see if it's true. And to me, it's like, you remember those magic 8 balls that we used to play with? Oh my gosh. I think that I almost want to imagine myself saying, okay, show me the way, show me the truth. And then something comes up that says, your fault. And then I realize, yeah, it is my fault, because I'm the one that's allowing myself to close off to this other being, to my own self, which is more painful when we shut off our own self. So in closing, I wanted to try to just wrap up some of Deepak Chopra's wisdom here. He wrote a very beautiful book. Some of you took that class with me, Total Meditation. And I feed you back some of the ideas of, you're stuck, when you know you're stuck, as if you wouldn't already know it. But he said, this is Deepak, you've known about this problem for a while. You've known it for a long while, and it's still there. You're stuck. You find yourself thinking about it quite often. At a streetlight, somebody looks like the person that triggers you, you're thinking about it again. You haven't made any progress in solving it, or progress has only been temporary. No one has given you truly useful advice. In your worst moments, you feel helpless or hopeless, or both. You keep repeating the fixes that never worked in the first place. And finally, in the end, you simply put up with whatever has gone wrong. You don't do anything at all. Then it rises again. So that's resistance on your path. That's resistance on your journey. And it takes you out of harmony with yourself, with the messages here today. There's a deep impression that is stuck inside of you. And we define ourselves all around this. And we feel less than in life because of that. We have to stay open, because it's not the truth. It's not the truth. So we don't want to shut down. We don't want to give into that resentment kind of energy. We want to relax with what is, and we want to breathe with what is, and we can pray. So here's the Deepak's solutions, these options. This is what you can do in the stickiness of those deep impressions. You already know they've happened in the past, and you're in the now. How fair is that? Not even happening to you, but you feel it's stuck. They were emotional, and what they did established a belief in you. You were innocent in that moment of the first insult, but you developed a belief about yourself that got embedded, and it became a root belief. He says these things, we believe the first person who told us something like this. We believed them, we trusted them. And they nailed us with something that hurt deeply. We believe things that are repeated often enough. We believe people we trust, right? We believe people we trust. That's why the hurt goes deeper. We never heard a contrary belief. Nobody knows the torment that you're going through, and so nobody is telling you that's not true. You don't even have the courage to face the person that you felt caused it. Some chain of events is reinforcing this belief. And now it's so stuck, and the inquiry is asking you, go deeper. So it's in those core beliefs. There it is. There's the depth. There's where your prayer begins. There's where your heart needs to be. These moments, the core beliefs, if you find yourself saying, is life even safe? Am I loved? Am I really loved? Am I good enough? Can I trust other people? Is there good and evil in the world? Is life even fair? Is there a God? What's she talking about? Am I even doing anything right? What am I doing right? What's not working for me? What's my next step? Any question that you hang with and you listen, and those are signals to you, a deeper knowing, a flow is about to happen. The intuition inside of you is about to come alive. So if you're bound by your beliefs, guess what? Create a new one. Oh, it's not set in stone. No, you made it up in the first place. So you realize, I can create a new one. I can bid goodbye to an old belief that's caused my heart to feel bound. I can allow the residual emotional charges that can trip me up, and then I just have to change my thinking, and I change my life. That's where mindfulness becomes very, very helpful, because mindfulness invites you to the present moment. You get centered, you breathe deeply, you can visualize there, and the emotions, you can see them dissipate. You use the tools of visualization to activate the release of the emotional pull. You can do this. You can do this. You're surrendering your human weakness and you're tapping your spiritual strength. That's the divine nature responding. And we can be receptive and listen. So a powerful closure for this is Adashante, falling into grace. Now here's a man of our time who has written a lot of material, and he's led a lot of people through some of the dark times. And he wrote this particular book, Falling into Grace, The Insights of the End of Suffering. And so here, I'm just at the very tail end. He starts to share about a Tibetan teacher who was crippled, didn't have his legs, so he stayed in his meditation hut somewhere high up in the mountains because this big boulder had fallen on his body and crushed him. So he was very, of course, upset about all of that, but he couldn't go anywhere, so he had to be with himself. And he stayed and he stayed and he asked the questions. He asked the questions over many years. And he came to realize that boulder was the greatest gift that ever came upon his life. And so this is Adashante's response to that. For me, grace appeared the day I became so completely frustrated after 4 years of ardent meditation to no end. As I mentioned, my experience in that moment was, that's it. I will never, ever be able to break through. I will never find out what enlightenment is. That moment was devastating. Like everything within me became completely and absolutely exhausted. I felt that I was defeated, and I was. Nobody in me wanted to go on. Nothing in me wanted to go on. Nothing in me had any hope for the future. I was sitting in my little hut, and I felt absolutely crushed. I was convinced this was the end of my whole spiritual life. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do now? My spiritual life is over. I have failed. And it's as I sat there in the moment of utter and absolute defeat, a defeat that was so total that I didn't even feel sorry for myself. It was right in the middle of that moment, my heart began to flower. Like a golden love was poured right in, directly into my being. It was as if I could hear everything and it was just singing with love. I went out of the hut and everything I looked at was an expression of the love, a manifestation of love. The whole universe was nothing but immense, infinite love, and I was bathed in it. It was then that I heard the voice, which was very odd to me because in my spiritual life, I wasn't prone to hearing voices or having visions. I didn't know where it came from. It just said, "This is how I love you. And this is how you shall love all beings everywhere." When I heard this voice, I knew it was true. The inner voice told me something I'd known all along, but I could never make contact with it. What I didn't know is that I'd been showered with this love my entire life, but that I was never completely open to it. This is how you shall love all things and beings. And he thought, I have no idea how to do that. But this unconditional love was washing over me in waves, and I couldn't possibly even consider how I could fall in love that way, and yet somehow I knew it was possible. Somehow I knew it would happen. I didn't know when, and I didn't know where, but somehow I knew that was a moment of grace. Wait for it. Wait for it. We're all in this together, and we're waiting for that moment of grace. And the flow opens. So join me as you center into a prayer. If you feel at all restricted in your heart, let it go. If you're carrying burden and sadness because someone in your life is suffering, make that love bigger right now. Include that suffering, include that pain in the opening of your heart. And join with me in a deeper knowing that there is a divine way, a divine love, divine arms, divine truth that is breathing each one of us here. It is even breathing the one suffering. It is breathing a profound love that no words can describe, that we are held in that grace. For the people in Syria and Turkey, we allow this love to envelop each and every one, those that are in service to help seek those that are lost, and those that are afraid and lost. We recognize this love is empowering them there in the darkest of times. Love, divine love, spiritual love. No boundaries to this grace, no boundary to it at all. We just allow it to flow wherever our mind goes, wherever our heart goes. It's just flowing because we were without judgment. We were not trying to direct it according to our will, but according to a greater idea. So in these moments of truth, feel your own heart and know that every prayer you whisper is one of absolute. And the summary of this teaching, again from Adashante. Of all the words spoken, he reminds us, be still, question every thought, contemplate the source of reality. Keep your eyes open. You never know when something that seems entirely insignificant will split your whole world wide open into eternal delight. May that be our journey. May that be our beacon that we follow, knowing that each day, every day, is an opportunity for grace to be revealed. I give thanks for this teaching and the fellowship that I find myself walking in. I know I walk with people of love and intention, and that in itself is grace. So thank you, God, for this community and for love itself. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, sweet. Thank you. Holly, will you take us to that with your beautiful voice to the place where people are? Thank you.
Gosh, it just took me so deep. Thank you, Sue. God. This song is called Chasing Rainbows. Can you hear me? So you think you've come too far, forgotten how to wish upon your favorite star. Was it really that far? Did you lose sight of that pot of gold? Maybe move on, give up, decide it was too big to hold. Do you suppose it's ever too late to go chasing rainbows? no mystery like the magic, the things you create in your life. Well, they first began in your mind. So make it fun and do your best. Just hold those good intentions and forget all the rest. 'Cause beyond the confusion, if you can be still, you will know time is illusion. And those rainbows, they're very real. So you think you've come this far just to forget how to wish upon your favorite star? Is that really who you are? You know it was meant for you, that pot of gold. So step into your dream and watch your life unfold. Do you suppose it's ever too late to go chasing rainbows? Go chase those rainbows. Shirley. She's trying to get your attention over there. Shirley.
Will the ushers please come forward? Feeling the divine presence within and knowing the truth of our being, we say thank you for the many gifts that we've received at this center. We know this as our spiritual home, and we share in gratitude for our abundance, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am.
As a sign of our gratitude for all that we have, for this teaching center and this truth which guides our lives, and so it is.
Whoa, electric. So we have a final song from Holly, and then invite you to take a look at the display in the foyer for Valentine's, and also to go in the social hall, and if you don't know somebody, introduce yourself, but just enjoy the community that we have here and enjoy the beautiful day that we have as well. Thank you.
We have God's design. Do people stand up anymore, or? Yeah. Yay! You're right. Some of you know this, and I do invite you to sing along with me. These eyes of mine long to behold you, present in your light divine. These eyes of mine long to behold another of God's designs. These arms of mine long to embrace you and rock your troubles away. These arms of mine just long to embrace another of God's designs. I am you are. We are another of God's designs. This heart of mine longs to adore you and loves to see you shine. This heart of mine longs to adore another of God's designs. This voice of mine just longs to give you the harmony within my soul. The song of mine will I sing for you. There's another of God's designs.
Molly, thank you for your time and talent and heart and love. Yeah, you are a great God design. Yeah. So, a little bit about those plates. Everything on those plates is handmade, heart-made, love-made. So, and then in the baggies, there are tic-tac-toe little baggies. So if you have a child that you think would be fun, I have chocolate kisses in those and a little tic-tac-toe board. And it's all about love. Whoever wins gets to have all the candy. There you go. So have fun shopping. Have fun with each other. Thank you for being here today.